I'm back for another episode, and as I was starting to record this, I happened to look outside, and it's starting to snow. Snow just it brings my morale down. I hate the snow. I hate the cold. I love summer. I would rather be hot and sweaty than cold and freezing. And not only is it snowing, it's like the wind's blowing. It's bitterly cold. Next week's gonna be like in the single digits or maybe even below zero. I'm not looking forward to that. I'll be so glad when this winter ends, and because I do play cornhole a lot outside, and I would rather play. To me, outside cornhole is so much fun, but it's not fun this time of year. It's fun in the summertime. It's fun, in the spring and fall when the weather's nicer. So I'm looking forward to that, where I can get my boards back outside and do some throwing. I actually went out last week. It was earlier this week, I think it was. Yeah, it was earlier this week, I believe it was. I went out and threw some outdoors. If you watch my most recent review, you'll see I was back outdoors. I've got one coming out. And then my next one coming out as well is an outdoor throwing that I'm going to have to be back indoors because of the bitter cold. So looking forward to getting back outside. But let me go and jump into the cornhole world here. And I got a few things to cover. Nothing really big, major, but I got a couple things I want to talk about. First thing I want to do is update you guys. If you watch or listen to my last podcast, I talked about the ACL wallet and about the fact that I tried to withdraw money and I was waiting for it. Well, update, I still haven't got my money. We're going on, it'll be almost 2 weeks now. Friday will be 2 weeks from when I requested the withdrawal. It still hadn't shown up. Again, listen, I could send an email and probably have it resolved. But for the science side of it, I want to see how long it takes without me sending an email. I want to see how long it takes for them to figure out what's wrong if they can figure it out. I do have money that I put back in there that I need to withdraw, and so I'm curious about that. I did have someone mention on that last podcast that Payment Labs, one of the reasons they're asking for all of that personal information, like your social security number and all that stuff, is because they're withholding money for taxes off your winnings. My issue with that is the money I'm withdrawing is not winnings. It's money that I put in to pay for entry fees that I didn't use it all. And so I'm trying to withdraw my money back out. There should be no winnings, there should be no taxes taken out because it wasn't a winning. It's my money. They just had, it's like if I went and put money in the bank and put it into an account for 6 months and then withdrew it, the bank doesn't take taxes out of that. That there's no income there. It's my money. So I'm hoping that's wrong. If you guys know anything about that, them withholding tax money, let me know, because that is something that is an issue that needs to be addressed, because not every dollar that's in that account is a winning, is a payout for an event. It's money that we're also putting in ourselves in order to pay for events. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully that commenter wasn't 100% right, or maybe there's a little bit of truth in there, that if you do win, that the Payment Lab somehow knows what percentage is winnings, what percent isn't, and they take the taxes out that way. I don't know. That's something that maybe would be nice if the ACL would clarify a little bit. Or I looked it up, couldn't figure it out. Maybe it's there and I missed it, but we'd love to know more about that. Anyway, jump off of that, and I want to go now and just to promote the Best of the Bags 2025, which if you've been following my content, you might have seen that I've been collaborating with the Big Ass Cornhole podcast. I did a live stream this past Monday. They jumped on my channel. It was like a 2-hour live stream. Had a lot of fun. We didn't really dive as much into the Big Ass or the Best of the Bags bracket as much as it was more of a Q&A session, because the chat, you guys were great with a lot of comments, posting questions. I love the interaction. I thought that was more valuable than us just going in and talking about the bracket. So I kind of took it a different direction there. But when I jumped on their podcast the week before last, the previous month, the Monday before that, I was on their podcast. We actually revealed the brackets and the bags and all. If you don't know what's going on, Sean and Dane, the Big Apps Cornhole podcast, they do a March Madness style bracket every time, or every year this time of year. And they started in 2020, I think they said was the first year they did it. And this year there's 128 bags. They're actually each company has one bag, and there's 128 different bag companies, 128 different bags. It's 2 brackets of 64 bags each, and they post them up on their Facebook page, Big Ass Cornhole Podcast on Facebook. I'll put a link in the description for their Facebook page. They post it up there every day. Right now they're doing 8 matchups a day. It started Monday. Every day it goes up at noon Eastern time, and then the next day at noon those close, and the next set goes up there as well for you to vote on. You go on there, just give a reaction. It's a heart or a wow. And in the post, they'll tell you if you want to vote for this one, you put the heart. This one, you put the wow. You just react to it, and that's how you get the vote in. And then shout out to Scoreholio for this year jumping in and running the brackets on the Scoreholio app. So you can actually go into Scoreholio and search for Best of the Bags, and you can pull up, there's an East and West bracket. You can pull up and you can follow along somewhat in real time. I mean, they're up to, each day after the post close at noon each day, from the post from the previous day close, They get updated somewhat reasonably. It depends on how much time that I think Sean said he's the one doing it. Depends on how much time he has during that day to how soon they'll get updated. But they'll usually get updated sometime later that day, if not right away in the afternoon, usually by the evening. And you can follow along and see where your favorite bag is, where your favorite bag company is, maybe see who they've got to face coming up and stuff like that. But it's just fun to be able to follow the brackets more regularly. Like in the past, but without Scoreholio, it was like at the end of each round, which was multiple days to get through a full round. Then the Big Ass Cornhole podcast was showing updated. Here's the updated bracket with the second round or the third round or whatever. With Scoreholio involved, it's great. So shout out to Scoreholio. I really love the fact that they jumped on there and was willing to put these brackets on their app so people can follow along. It's great. I'm a fan of Scoreholio. I use it all the time. I love it. It's a wonderful app. It's great for running tournaments. I run tournaments in my league, and it makes it so easy to run tournaments. And they're not a sponsor. This is not paid. This is just like I'm a huge fan of Cornholio. But again, shout out to them for jumping in to support this Best of the Bag tournament for the 2025 season. Also, I want to give a shout out to In the Bag Cornhole. They jumped in and were willing to help out in the live stream. I was looking for something to give away during the live stream, and In the Bag Cornhole, I was asking if we give away one thing, and they turned around and said no, they want to do 4. So we did 4 giveaways Monday in the live stream. That's all thanks to In the Bag Cornhole, right? They were the ones that want to do 4 giveaways, not one. I shout out to them. A huge thank you to them for doing that, and I would recommend or encourage you guys to go check them out. Like again, not a sponsor. They don't pay me. Not that they haven't asked. That's a whole different topic for some other time. But not a sponsor at all. But I've been a huge fan of their products. I've reviewed a bunch of their products. They make great quality products. If you're looking for backpacks or bag pouches or the cornhole sling, board covers, they've got all. I think they got pitch pads. Any kind of cornhole accessory you're looking for, go to inthebagcornhole.com. You're not going to find a better price and a better quality product than what they have there. And don't let the prices fool you. Sometimes you look at things and go, oh, that's too cheap. It can't be good. Trust me, everything I've gotten from them has been the highest quality. It's exceeded my expectations in quality. So they're definitely high quality products for what, and you're getting a great value there. Go check them out. I really can't recommend them enough. They've been a great company for me to work with, and again, they jumped onto my live stream and were willing to they went above and beyond what I expected. Love that. Everybody I've talked to that's got products from them has had nothing but great things to say. So if you haven't checked them out, go check them out. If you're not sure what to buy, again, I'll put a link down in my description here, or maybe even in the video. I got a playlist with all the products of theirs I've reviewed so far. And look, if you're looking for a way to carry your bags, like the backpack or the sling, the bag pouches, I've done the cooler pouch, I did the board covers. I think that's all I've reviewed so far of them. I can't remember, but yeah, check them out. inthebagcornhole.com. Again, not a sponsor. I just want to give them a shout out because they jumped in and helped the live stream. The other thing I want to talk about is that kind of stood out so far. We started this Best of the Bag tournament on Mondays. We had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and today being Thursday. We're now starting to vote on the 4th day. But the first 3 days, the one thing I've noticed is the differences between the leagues. And people ask me all the time, what's the difference between ACL and ACO? And there's not a huge difference, but what I tell people is, to me, and this is not a knock on either. I'm not trying to pick a favorite here, but hear me out. Let me get through this and let me explain this for you before you start making judgments on what I'm saying here. The ACO to me is like a family. It's like a family. It's a friendship. It's a brotherhood. They get behind each other, support each other. The ACL is more like a business, and that's not a bad thing, right? They both have their advantages. They both have their disadvantages. But I think it stands out a lot in this Best of the Bags tournament in the sense that on the ACO side, I mean, they are kind of the underdogs here, right? The Big Ass Cornhole podcast is mainly an ACL podcast. They really talk almost exclusively ACL. They're in an ACL area where they play mostly ACL events. So the people listening to them are going to be mostly players who play in the ACL, which means when they do these brackets, most of the people voting are going to be ACL voters. And the ACL companies are probably going to have a little bit bigger, not a little bit, they're going to have a bigger, larger following because they're fewer ACL companies than there are ACO companies. So you've got, the same amount of players, but now they've got, 50, let's say 48, 49 companies on the ACL side, where I don't know, there's probably 2 or 3 times that on the ACO side. So your ACO supporters are kind of spread out, thinned out a little more than what's on the ACL side. So the ACL companies have larger number of supporters, which means they're going to get, in theory, more votes. But what you're seeing here is the ACO companies, the organization. I know I got to make sure I enunciate O and L. I said one time before I was going to start calling them organization and league, and I'm having a hard time of breaking the habit of ACL. And on the organization side, what you're seeing, or what I'm seeing, is when an ACO, an organization company, is up against another non-ACO company, whether it's ACL or unstamped, the other companies get behind and vote with them and try to push that back there, even though it's not their company. They look at them as a fellow company, a member of the family, a member of their brotherhood, and they want to see an ACO company succeed, even if it's not their own. They're helping to push them through. On the ACL side, you don't see that, and again, it's not a negative thing, but I think the ACL side. One thing for the ACL side, the league side, is the bigger companies like the BGs and the Ultras. This doesn't matter to them. I mean, Ultras. If you look at Ultra or BG's Facebook page and the number of followers they have, if they would just get half those followers to come vote on each time they ran, they would win everyone in a landslide. I mean, it's absurd, but they don't really care, and that's partly because it doesn't matter to these big companies, right? I mean, last year the BG Wizard won the best of the bags for 2024. Them winning that bracket didn't sell them any extra bags. Like it really, I probably had zero impact on their business. Second place was Sub Zero. I bet Sub Zero had a major boost in their sales, or at least people visiting their site from them placing second in that bracket last year, the tournament last year, because there were a lot of people that had no idea who Sub Zero was. They're a newer company, no one had any idea what they were. So that was a bigger impact on Sub Zero was on BG, and so these smaller companies, these lesser known companies, are benefit way more from this tournament because it just brings a lot of eyeballs to it. People look at these things, and before I started doing these reviews, I was a fan of this. I followed the Big X Cornhole podcast. I would see that they did these brackets every year, and when they would post them, and I didn't recognize the bag, I would click on them and go search for them. Click on the link. They usually tag the Facebook page for the company in the post. I'd click on that, go look at the Facebook page, their website, check the website out, because I wanted to know more about, hey, who is this company? I never heard of them. Maybe I need to know. Maybe they make great bags and I didn't know. And so it brings recognition to these smaller companies. So it is a bigger deal, and that's why you see so many smaller companies go after it. Now, that being said, there are smaller ACL companies as well. And I'm not saying that there aren't ACL bag companies that don't support others. There are ACL bag companies that will support other ACL bag companies. There are ACO and ACL bag companies that work together, depending on, because sometimes the owners know each other. Like most of these companies are all small, but they're all small businesses in the scheme of a business. Even the biggest cornhole bag companies is still a small business. So a lot of times these owners and the people running these companies know each other. In some cases, they may be in the same area. They're going to support the people they know, the people they like. They're going to support their friends. So you will get some overlap there. You will get ACL companies that support other ACL companies. But as a whole, you see more of the ACO companies getting behind and pushing, whereas the ACL companies kind of, some care, some don't. It's a little bit of a mixed review on this. And I don't even know if some of them even have an idea that this tournament goes on, right? I don't know if they really paid attention. Some of them may not pay attention until it gets close to the end, and if they're still involved, maybe they care. I don't know. But it's just interesting to see, and I'm so happy to see the ACO companies really getting behind and supporting this and pushing this through. A shout out to CBC for they've been probably the most vocal of the ACO companies. They have a podcast they do every week as well. So if you jump on their Facebook page, you can. I think it's Wednesday nights they do their podcast, if I remember right. You can go on there and they'll talk about that. They've been doing giveaways, shirts and bags and stuff like that as well for ACO companies that win, or if their bag gets advanced as well. So they're doing giveaways there. But shout out to them for really getting behind this and pushing this through on the ACO and bringing the ACO together to support their bag companies. I love it. If you haven't gotten involved with this, I would encourage you to get involved with this. It's great for the sport of cornhole. If you're a fan of the sport, it's great to come out and support something like this because it does help promote these bag companies. It doesn't matter if you're ACL or you're ACO or you're both. If these bag companies have success, the leagues will have success. These bag companies are the backbones of the leagues, and without them, you don't have a league, right? Without the bags, you don't have leagues. And these companies are putting a lot of time and effort into creating these bags, making great bags. The quality of bags now is better than it's ever been. There used to be a time that you'd buy bags and you weren't sure what you were getting. Now when I get a set of bags, even from companies that are unstamped, companies that I had never heard of, I get a set of bags and they're great quality. Like the quality has gone up. The bar has been raised. Like I think as players that we have an expectation when we get bags, we expect them to be a high quality, a high standard to start with. And so if you're going to put bags out, you're going to already be there. And so the quality's there. These companies are making great products. They're putting the time and effort in for us to be able to buy the bags and go play the game that we love. And so it's a great time to kind of turn around and show them support, show them some love, have some fun with it. It's a popularity contest. It's not a thing of this bag is better than that bag necessarily. It's just that, I want to support this company, right? Look at that. I want to support this company or I want to support that company, whatever. And you put your votes in. Next thing I want to do is give a couple. I want to just give a couple shout outs to some companies. Again, this is not sponsored. These companies aren't sponsored. These are just companies that support the sport of cornhole And I want to support companies that support the sport that I love, because if they have success, again, it's like the bags. If these companies are having success, they're going to dump more money into sponsoring pro players or helping grow the sport, which means it's going to be a better game for all of us. And the reason I want to say this is it's from, I purchased some coffee from Cornhole Coffee. I was aware of them. They've been around for a year and a half, 2 years, I think. They've sponsored some pro players. They've I think they sponsored the Big Ass Cornhole podcast at one. I don't know if they still are or not. I think I heard them on there as well. But they've been sponsoring. They're kind of present around the cornhole world. When I first heard of them, I thought it was kind of a gimmick. I really ignored it. Didn't pay much attention to it. Right? It just, Cornhole Coffee doesn't really make. I don't make that connection there. But I'm a fan of good coffee. In my regular day job, about 7 years ago, I stumbled across a local coffee roaster through my regular work, and I fell in love. I used to drink coffee only when it was cold because I wanted a warm beverage and because of the caffeine. And I would load up sugar, cream, flavors, whatever to make it taste good. I would just do whatever I could so that I could drink it because I wanted the warm from it, and I wanted the caffeine from it, and that's all I looked for. Then I found this local coffee roaster, and it really kind of opened my eyes to that you can actually buy good quality coffee that actually tastes good. I actually can enjoy drinking coffee because it tastes good. And I didn't know that existed until I stumbled across that. And so then I dived into the world where I started buying beans. I would grind my own beans and make my own coffee at home. And I've been doing that now for 6 or 7 years. I'm a coffee snob. You won't see me. You won't see me go to a gas station. You won't see me go to Dunkin' Donuts. You won't see me go to Starbucks. If I'm going to get coffee, I want good coffee. Now, doesn't mean if I'm in a bind, I'm not going to drink some other coffee. But I want. And look, if you like Dunkin', if you like Starbucks, whatever, I'm not judging you. I'm not saying it's if you like it, that's great. I'm just saying my coffee level of what I think is good coffee is beyond that now. And so when I finally jumped, I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I did it, but about a month or so ago, I finally decided just to bite the bullet and order some coffee from Cornhole Coffee, and I ordered a few bags of it and got it in, and I was impressed. I really was impressed, and I've actually placed a second order, so I've ordered from them twice now, and the quality's great. My favorite is the Cowboy Blend, but they've got a lot of single origin coffees. They got blended coffees. I think they got flavored coffees. I think you can order it with the whole bean, or you can order it ground up as well. I get the whole beans because my coffee maker grinds it itself, so I don't, I'm that kind of snob, I guess. But I just want to give them a shout out. Again, this is not sponsored. They have no idea I bought the product from. They have no idea I mentioned them here. I don't even know if they even going to watch this, and no idea. But they make a great product. If you like high quality coffee, I would recommend giving them a try. Just give them a try. Order a few bags of it. See what you think. Right? Just give them a try. If you don't like it, there's no harm to it. You can go back to what you're doing. But I was impressed with the quality of the coffee. It met my expectations and exceeded a little further than that. So I will be a customer. I will continue to buy from them. Again, they're not paying me for this. They don't know I said this. I just want to give them a shout out. The next company I want to shout out is a company that you've heard me talk about before. That's Toss Sauce. I just put an order in for some more sauce last night because I've been getting a lot of bags in recently, and I've been having to break in a lot of bags. And listen, break-in methods is a controversial topic to talk about with cornhole players. We all have our own methods we like, and I'm not here to tell you that toss sauce is better than any method used. I've used plenty of methods. I think to some degree they all work, and you find the one that works best for you and you stick with it. What I will say, and I get a lot of people asking all the time that they're new to the sport of cornhole, they're new to breaking in bags. If you're new to it and you don't have a method, get toss sauce. It's idiot proof. It has directions. If you follow the directions step by step, your bags will come out perfectly broken to where you want, or at least to the point where you can then go throw them and finish breaking them in. Right? They will come out just like you want, and it's you can't mess them up. Right? And so when I'm talking to new players all the time, and I have people talk about the price of it. It's $20 for a bottle, and the bottle does like six sets of bags or so. I mean, so you're talking $3 to break in a set of bags that you paid $80 or $100 for. I mean, the cost to me is not that big of a deal. If it is to you, that's fine. And there are cheaper ways to do it, and you can, by all means, go do it. Again, I'm not trying to change your method, but this is for the newer players. If you just want the simplest, easiest method to break in your bags, go toss sauce, and it works. I've got a point now. They've got different levels of break-ins, the products they use. I've got a point now where it's pretty much snake oil all the time. I use which is their strongest formula. I use the snake oil, and then sometimes I will adjust how long I soak them for, just to adjust the break in a little bit, or I may adjust how much I may not use a full scoop. I may use half a scoop if I don't want to break the bags in quite as much. But if you follow that process, and I'll even say, even if you don't follow the process perfectly, there have been times I put bags in and forget about them and go, oh, they've been soaking for a lot longer than they should have, and they still come out perfectly. So shout out to Toss Sauce, another company that has sponsored pro players that has really helped. I mean, really, Toss Sauce has helped change the game of cornhole. I will say that they've been a company that changed the game when they first came out with their product. That was revolutionary. That was new. That was different. Before that, we were bullion bags. We were using hair conditioner. We were using whatever like shaving cream, other products. People still use those, and look, they work. I've used those products. They work. They work fine. But then we had a company come out and make a product just designed for breaking and cornhole bags, which that was new. So shout out to Toss Sauce. Highly recommend checking them out and supporting them. The next company I already mentioned is In the Bag Cornhole. I mean, they've been a big supporter of my channel for a bit now. I've talked about enough, but go check them out if you're looking for cornhole accessories, whether it's carrying cases or board covers or pitch pads or whatever. They've got it for you there on inthebagcornhole.com. So check those out. Toss Sauce as well was shoptosssauce.com. Cornhole Coffee. I think it's cornholecoffee.com. I don't know. I didn't keep track of all these websites. But. And then the last company I want to mention here, and this is maybe, I can't say this is not sponsored. It's Cornhole Solutions. I'm part of their affiliate program, which means if you go and use my code Mike10 when you check out, you save money. I get a small percentage back to me. So technically there is money changing hands, right? There's money coming back to me. But I will say with Cornhole Solutions, I started buying Cornhole Solution boards long before I ever became part of their affiliate program. I was buying them, and once I bought them, I just fell in love with the quality of the boards for the price. I actually reached out to Cornhole Solutions and asked about their affiliate program and became a part of it. They didn't reach out to me. I reached out to them initially a few years ago and became part of their program. I mean, I would have supported them even if they didn't have an affiliate program because I just think they make great products, but it is a benefit. It really does help my channel when you guys use my code because it does help give me a little bit of money back in to dump back to my channel to buy more products, more bags, more better equipment, upgrade everything, put on a better quality videos, and just improve what I'm doing here. So that's been very helpful. But again, it's go check them out. If you're in the market for boards, I don't think you can find a better quality board at a better price. If you're looking, they have all kinds of accessories, scoring towers and pitch pads. They carry some bags now as well. I've got some of their bags that I'm gonna review here in the next few weeks. I'll start bringing those reviews out to you as well. So check them out, cornholesolutions.com. Anyway, that's the only one that's kind of a shameless plug because I do have a link. The other companies I mentioned, I have no affiliation with, no affiliate links, nothing. Those are just I just love their products. I want to mention again, I love Cornhole Solutions products. I just want to be clear that there is an affiliate link there as well. So the next thing I want to talk about is something that's a little different, and I learned about it a couple weeks ago, I think it was, and that's Dragon Bags has a new bag out called Charlie's. And what's unique about that, I think it has a unique fast side material. I haven't got my hands on a set yet, but I think it has a unique fast side material. But what's revolutionary about it is the name Charlie's. That's actually the name of a local bar to them. I think it's in Arizona somewhere. I hope I got that right. It's somewhere out in the Southwest. I think Arizona's right. If it's not, correct me, but I think that's where it is. But it's a local bar there, and Dragon Bags actually basically sold the naming rights of that bag, and Charlie's, the bar, stepped up and put their name on it. And at first I heard, I wasn't so sure about that, but then I got to thinking, when you get into sports, every sport you're in, they're naming rights for fields, stadiums, arenas have naming rights. That's all part of the sponsorship deal. And I'm like, it is kind of I love the thinking outside the box. I love when people are willing to take chances and do something different, because that's how you grow. That's how the sport grows. That's how the league grows. That's how the game grows, is by people willing to take chances and do something different. If we keep doing the same thing over and over again, we're going to stay where we are. It just becomes a stagnant growth. We're never going to improve. We're just going to stay still. So you've got to keep making change. And sometimes the changes take you back, and you may fall back a bit, but then if you learn from those mistakes, you can then grow faster or go bigger, go higher, further down the road from it. There's a saying, and I don't know if I can get this right. It's like, let's see if I get this right. It's healthy things live, living things grow, growing things change. I think that's right. Basically, which means if you want to grow, you're going to change. And you look at yourself. I mean, I look at myself, where I am now from last year or 5 years or 10 years. I've changed. I've changed because I've grown better as a person. You just look at my channel. If you go back and watch one of my early reviews and watch one of my most recent reviews, you're going to see a lot of change. Hopefully you see better changes. Hopefully you see improvements for the new ones over the old ones. I think the video quality is improved. The sound quality is improved. I've improved as a reviewer. I think I do a better job of explaining things better. I think I'm more concise. I still rambling, like talking and rambling. That's just something I do. I've rambled plenty here today in this episode. But in order to grow, there has to be change. And as humans, we tend to resist change. We like to have things stay the same. So when things change, we want to push back. We want to be comfortable. Change is not always comfortable. But in order to grow, there has to be change, and we have to accept that change, and we have to, in a way, want that change, encourage that change, and ask companies and ask these leagues to bring that change on. Even if we don't like it, you still got to try it, right? And again, the change may be bad, and you may realize it's the wrong direction, and you got to go a different direction. But we need to have that change, and I love the fact that Dragon Bags, like I said, stepped out of the box. Let's do something different. It got me thinking, like, what else can cornhole companies market? Like, where else can they bring sponsors? What else can they bring? Because I mean, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know how much money Charlie's paid to have the naming rights, but it's more income in. And I just got to thinking, like what if a bag company had a bag that was, this is the sponsor bag that has company sponsor, kind of like in racing. You have your NASCAR or your IndyCar, your Formula One. They have the race suits. They have all the sponsors in their suits. Their cars have all the different sponsors. What if you could buy a set of bags that had a bunch of sponsors on it, and that set of bags was cheaper than the regular set that didn't have sponsors on it, right? Those two different prices, same bag, same materials, everything's the same. One doesn't have sponsors, so you're going to pay, say 20. Maybe you pay $100 for that set, and this set has sponsors. Maybe you're paying $80 or 70, $60, whatever the sponsorship's worth, whatever the companies pay. You can buy it cheaper, but you've got sponsors on there because you're now promoting those. You're not promoting those companies when you go out and throw those bags, right? Maybe that's an avenue we take. I got to think it too, like what sponsors. I think Dragon Bags got lucky that it was a company, it was a bar called Charlie's, right? Because that name is, it's not like it was Walmart or Best Buy or Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that, right? That would have been a little awkward to have a bag named after them. But I think the name of a bar fit a little better, and so it doesn't stand out as much. It is a little different and unique, but it doesn't scream. It doesn't scream that we're trying to sell out for money, right? I'm not saying that's what they're doing. It just got me curious about thinking about it, and I was thinking about Michelob, and they have their product Michelob Ultra. What if they sponsor an Ultra bag and it's called Michelob Ultra, and there it is, and they've got their brand Michelob branding on there on an Ultra set of bags made by Ultra, right? I mean, there's other parts we probably think of that would fit really well, but I've always said beer companies. I'm surprised they're not into the cornhole world yet. I'm surprised they're not here yet. I don't know why they haven't gotten involved yet. I don't know why the pros haven't. Maybe they've reached out and they just don't want to get involved. But I feel like there's a good connection between cornhole and beer companies. There's a connection there. We just got to figure out how to make that connection, because I think that'll bring a lot of money for the pros and into the sport and into whoever else is trying to bring money in. But anyway, I mentioned this. I'm just curious to get your guys' thoughts. Were you aware of this? And if this is the first you've heard of it, what are your thoughts about a company selling name rights to the bags? Does it matter to you? Does it not matter? Do you care? Do you not care? There has to be some ACL approval with that, because, the ACL approves every bag. So when Dragon Bags created this bag, they had to send it to the ACL, get approved, where they get the ACL stamp on it, which meant the name was part of it. I don't know if they had to disclose where the name came from. I don't know if that was really part of it. If they did or didn't, I don't know. I could see there could be some potential conflicts of interest if a company wants to sponsor a bag that may be a competing sponsor of a company that sponsors the ACL as a whole, as a league. Or there could be some controversial companies that come in, that want to sponsor it, that maybe the ACL doesn't want sponsoring. So I can see some areas that it may not go well. But I think overall, in general, I like the idea. I'm curious to get what you guys think on it, if you care or don't care, if you have an opinion. I'd love to know that. Share that with me. It's an interesting topic. I'm curious as to where we can go. I mean, the ACL has sold sponsorship to their boards. I mean, they had Backyard.com a year or so ago sponsoring some of their boards. They've got I think they still have Johnsonville in there, and then they have someone else that sponsors. There's been a couple different sponsors on the ACL and the board wise. So, the ACL sells sponsorships for their boards, for their banners, for their courts, all that stuff. So why can't bag companies, pros have sponsors on the jerseys? Why can't bag companies have sponsors in their bags, right? I don't see a problem with that whatsoever. And I think the way Dragon Bags did it was done really well. Was done really nicely. I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it. Just curious to get your thoughts on that. The last thing I talk about is real quickly. So I just upcoming reviews and stuff. I mentioned I've got the boards, the waterproof boards from Cornhole Solutions that I got to review. I'm trying to figure out how to review that. If you got some ideas, I don't know. Part of me wants to go out when it's raining and throw bags on it in the rain. It's not gonna be. I don't mind throwing in the rain if it's warmer. The problem is it's cold. If it's raining now, it's gonna be like 40 degrees or 35 degrees and raining. It's gonna be miserable that way. Maybe it's a little misting. Just trying to come up with some fun ways to review that. But anyway, I've got the waterproof boards to review from Cornhole Solutions. I've got, I don't know, 20, 25 sets of bags on hand. I've got more sets that are supposed to be coming my way. So I've got plenty of bags to review. They're mostly ACO bags. I've got a few ACL, and I've got a few unstamped bags. There's a lot. I mean, the ACO has more. I've talked before, has more companies than the ACL does. I've reviewed a good chunk of ACL bags. There's still a lot of ACO bags I haven't reviewed. In fact, Scorholio, Ben, the owner of Scorholio, was messaging me earlier. He was talking about the practice part of the Scorholio app, where you can go in and put your bags in when you practice and keep your practice stats stuff. And there's actually there's a page where you can go and you can see all the stats of what bags, how many rounds have been thrown, what the average PPR is, all that stuff, and stats. And I was looking at it's over 1,500 bags that are listed on that. 1,500 bags in the Scorholio app for different bags, So I mean, I've probably done I don't know, maybe I've done 400 reviews. I don't know. I don't know. Over the last 3 years, I've maybe done close to 400 bags I review. But some of those bags I've done re-reviews of because they made changes. So I've still got over 1,000 bags to review to get all those done. And in the meantime, there are new bags coming out. So there's plenty of bags for me to review. But I say all this to say that if there is a bag that you haven't seen me review, or a bag company that I haven't reviewed yet, shoot me a message. I've got a list that's probably 50 plus bags long that I keep. When you guys send me messages, I'll add them to my list. I'll put them on my list. I'll add them there. And then, if enough people request it and I start getting a lot of requests the same bag, I'll bump that up the list and try to move that towards the top, make it a top priority. But I also encourage you guys to go reach out to the company and let the companies know that you want to see those bags reviewed, because some bags I buy, some bags companies send me. It just depends on the company and how they want to do it. If a company sends me a set of bags to review, they go ahead of the list of all the companies of bags that I buy, right? So anytime a company sends me a bag, and I try to put them in a first come, first serve order best I can. Now, if a company sends me multiple sets of bags, I'll kind of spread them out because I don't want to give you 2 or 3 or 4 reviews in a row of the same bag company. I want to kind of spread it out a little bit and mix things in. But if a company sends me bags, they go to the top of the list, so they're going to get priority on the review. And then if I buy them, they fall in. And when I run out of bags, or I have a gap opening for some reason, I'll put that bag company in there. So I encourage you to go to the bag company and just let them know that you're looking for a review, or you're curious, you'd love to see one of their bags reviewed. Sometimes bag companies don't always understand that you care about the reviews. Some companies don't really. I mean, some companies just flat out refuse to send bags to reviewers, and that's their choice, right? They don't have to. I mean, I'm not gonna beg them to. I'm not gonna ask them. I mean, that's fine. That they have that choice and they have their reasons for doing it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some companies don't understand that you guys value reviewers, and it doesn't have to be me. I mean, Corbin does reviews. There's Average at Best Cornhole doing reviews. There's other reviewers out there. I don't care if you'd rather have someone else do the review, but let these bad companies know that you value the reviews, and I think they'll become more supportive of this, and it makes it easier for us reviewers to get the bags that you want to see reviewed, especially when it's a new bag coming. Like a lot of you always ask me, when a new bag's released, what do I know about it? And sometimes I can't buy the bags until you can, right? So I don't have any inside information, but there are some companies that will give me bags early, which is great because then I can get a review out to you guys before or right after they release, or I can at least answer your questions because now I've thrown the bags. I have those answers for you. So it just helps if you guys, communicate with me for bag joint review, but also communicate with the bag companies and let them know. And then maybe if they get enough people saying, hey, we want to see these bags reviewed, they'll get the message and they'll start reaching out to some of us reviewers and possibly getting some bags out so that we can review them for you guys. So I said I'm going to ramble. I've rambled. I always ramble. I always say I'm not going to ramble. I'm keep this short, and I'm always rambling. So anyway, that's all I got for today and for this week, guys. I appreciate so much the support you've shown me. As I mentioned, go support those companies I mentioned. In the Bag Cornhole, Cornhole Coffee, Toss Sauce, Cornhole Solution. Those are all great companies that I love to support, and I really think that you should look into supporting them as well. If you have some companies that you found that are cornhole, even if they're not, even if I'm looking for companies that are not just cornhole bag companies, although I love those and I'll support those, but if there are other companies out there that aren't cornhole bag companies, they're just companies that like to be part of the cornhole community and support, let me know. Maybe I'd love to check them out. I'd love to go support them, be a customer, buy some of their products, and see how I like. And if I like them, I'll maybe mention them on another episode of or one of these videos for you guys. Like I said, I love these companies to support the sport of cornhole, and I want to try to support as many of them as I can, because in return, that's going to just help grow the sport and make the sport better, which is the ultimate goal. I want this sport of cornhole to grow and become a legit sport, right? That's what I want. I think it's what we all want. So if you've got a company out there that's doing something great that maybe doesn't get the recognition, let me know. I'll check them out and maybe I'll throw them on another episode. As always, I thank you guys so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.